Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just to let you know, we are due to start at 6 o'clock this evening, but we have heard reports of absolutely horrendous traffic in Hexham, so we're just going to delay the start for a few minutes just to let as many people get here for the ceremony as we can, just to let you know.
Got the mask on. Where can
and a very good evening and a warm welcome to our awards this evening. A brand new venue here at the Queen Elizabeth High School. Just a couple of housekeeping points before we get started. First of all, we're not expecting any kind of fire drills or anything this evening, so if the fire alarm does sound, please do leave the room via the entrance that you came in or any of the exits which are signposted as a fire exit. As well as that, if you need the toilet door during the evening, they are just outside the doors on the left-hand side. And finally, COVID-19, if you can, please maintain social distancing where possible and wear your masks throughout if possible too. You can take them off if you're coming up to receive an award. But without further ado, can I ask you please to give a nice warm welcome to the chairman of Sport Tynedale, Mr. Edward Haslam.
Thank you very much, Steve, and welcome to everyone. And it's great to be back. As we already said, it's a new venue. We've got new challenges. Rolling screen behind us, a huge amount of work's gone into, lots of electrical things to put into place. Hopefully it'll all go swimmingly. If it doesn't, just bear with us and we'll do our best. We are pleased to welcome tonight Hexham TV, who are recording this, and I'm on telly now, evidently. We've got the PowerPoint display as well. Before I go into a little minute of Sport Tynedale existence, I just want to highlight in the last year or two, it's 2 years since we had the awards, the achievements of some of our previous winners, and I'm thinking of Alison Wright, who is, despite huge health issues, is firing away with her archery and winning trophies, etc., and is an example to so many of us. And also to Marty Wells, who had a season ticket with Sport Tynedale from being 12 years old with a head of hair, more like Rory McIlroy used to have. And he walked up to the awards 2 years ago as the Senior Sportsman of the Year. He represented Great Britain and Ireland in the Walker Cup, won 3 of his 4 trophies, didn't win the Walker Cup. However, a shining example of sportsmanship. He's now turned pro and we wish him well. And one day he'll be back here handing out prizes. He's promised me that. Sport Tynedale started in 1974, and the idea was that some like-minded people decided that the young people, especially of Tynedale, had a problem getting to perform at a high level. All right, winning locally, but to get out of the region, it cost money and it was a lot of time. So they put together a grants and awards scheme, and that's what we still do. We award grants for people who are excelling in their chosen sport. And if they're going out, for instance, to represent the northern region, the north of England, then we will make financial assistance. It surprised me 2 years ago when I was talking to a young man who'd was been asked to represent the north of England in Birmingham, I believe. And he had to make his own way down, which is fair enough, pay for his own accommodation to represent the north of England. But he had to pay a £70 entry fee as well. And that seemed to me and to us as one obstacle too far. It's one of the reasons that we provide the grants that we do. The nomination format is very simple. October we go out and you have to be nominated to be considered. It's up to you, it's up to your peers, your parents, your teachers, your teammates to nominate you, and we will consider. So we go through the nominations, and it is a long job. We have no restrictions other than the Unsung Hero. The Unsung Hero is for 3 to be shortlisted, as we have 3 to be shortlisted. And what can happen, as has happened this year, is number 4 and number 5 were worthy contenders, but they were going to end up getting nothing. So what we do is we look at their expertise. Are they coaches? Are they participants in some sort of way? And we put them into that category so that they get recognition that we wouldn't otherwise have given them. I would like particularly to welcome the parish and town councils here tonight to help us with their financial support. Their support over the COVID year has been absolutely amazing. And that's one of the reasons that we have a special COVID award later on tonight, because of the contribution, the financial contribution they have given to us. Tonight is sponsored by EGGA, and welcome to Kate and Phil, who are representing EGGA tonight, and we'll be talking to them later. Their assistance, their guidance, their professionalism is a great advantage to us, as is the help that Hannah has given us with the printing of the programmes, our constantly changing minds and changing names and getting spellings wrong. And we don't think there's any misspelled, but the chances are there could be. So thank you to Hege for that. We also have physiotherapy. Kate Young is here for the first time to sponsor our individual awards, and we're most grateful for that contribution. It helps us to keep going. And a big welcome also to our guest presenter, who I've got my back to Carol. Thank you very much for agreeing to come. Look forward to you enjoying the night. And the format is very simple. I am now handing over to the President of Sport Tynedale, Alison Wright, to begin the procedures.
Thank you very much, Edward, and welcome to you all again. And just to reiterate Edward's comments, it really is so good to see so many of you with us celebrating everything that makes sport great in our region, especially given almost, 2 years, as Edward said, of not being able to do this. Although for the record, those of us that did get together last year, it wasn't a party. It was definitely a board meeting, and Kathy Keedy did not do Secret Santa or provide the cheese and wine. But no, in all seriousness, we really did miss the opportunity last year to celebrate everything that makes sport wonderful in our Tynedale region. And tonight, I promise, we will make up for it, and you guys are very much part of that. I'm also delighted to introduce our very special guest, as Edward said, who will be presenting all of our nominees and our winners with their certificates and their trophies. I do feel, I don't know whether there's many MasterChef professional fans in the room, as I am. I do feel like I am in MasterChef professionals, and I am one of those chefs that's about to plate something up in front of Marcus Waring, because I'm holding the microphone with the Queen of BBC television right next to me. So apologies if I get it wrong. But yeah, I mean, she really does need no introduction. She's a fantastic face. She's somebody that we're all used to having in our living rooms every night. The face of our regional news, and of course, all-round lovely lady, Carol Malia. Please join me. As well as being our regional star and queen of telly, to put it in context, you are a local resident of the Tyne Valley, and you're mom to two very active youngsters. So, I mean, sport obviously is a big part of your family's life.
It is. I think we live in one of those districts. Shall I take
Yeah.
She's facing that. We live in one of those districts where wherever you are, you're driving around, you'll see people jogging, jumping in the Tyne, which I've taken to doing on a Wednesday morning. Does anybody look? People playing team sports, cycling. We're just blessed. I think it's just kind of dyed in the wool stuff here, isn't it? So by osmosis, we've got the kids involved in a number of sports, and they're kind of a jack of all trades. They're not going to be podium kids, but they enjoy sport, which is what I'm, keen on really.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've already jumped into my next question, which was about many of you might not know, and there is somebody in the room that has helped her love of open water swimming, and I always remember you telling me about it, and that would mean, how long ago now have you been dipping in the open water?
Well, I was brought up at Cullercoats Alley, so we used to swim in the North Sea before it was called wild swimming. It was just swimming. We just went in and then had chips. But now obviously it's just grown exponentially. And even before lockdown, it was really sprouting. It was sprouting up. And Mark, I think we call him Philip Ridley now. There you are, Mark. Yes, introduced me to the beautiful loch there. I say loch, it's the lake really, isn't it? Where you swim. And it was just the most stunning day, swimming without a wetsuit on this beautiful still water with the views. Mark there to help if anybody should collapse. And it was just a terrific introduction to it really, and a great bunch of people. And so now we've taken it into a sort of ad hoc thing in Corbridge with a bunch of girls that I know, and it's developed into coffee and cake, and there's a food theme here as well, obviously. And we enjoy it. It gives us a real buzz. And the kids have done the Swim England open water courses as well, and they love that.
Oh, that's fantastic. So there you go. That's the context for you all this evening. A very special guest. So please give our guest presenter a round of applause, please. jumping in and out to chat to some of our fantastic nominees and winners throughout the evening. But without further ado, I'm going to pass on to our first set of awards. Please welcome Carol Smith, one of our Sport Tynedale board members.
I feel a little bit inadequate here against these two professionals, so please bear with me. It's great to see so many people here. Two particularly young ones I've spotted. We're starting them young in Tynedale, I think. But before we start to announce the shortlists for each category, I've been asked to remind you yet again of the way that we have to organise things in these rather strange times. We're of course in a new venue that is not only new to Sport Tynedale, but new to most of you, I would think. And we have the additional technology with us. So please bear with us if the process isn't quite as slick as it usually is. So what will happen is the shortlisted nominees in each of the categories are in your programmes, and for each one we'll give you a bit of information about their achievements whilst they stay in their seats. Then they, or in the case of a team, 3 or 4 representatives, will be asked to make their way up to the front to join Alison and Carol. At that point, recipients may remove their masks if they so wish, but please take your time and try as far as you can to maintain physical distance as you make your way through the hall. And while recipients are doing that, that'll be the time for the rest of us to applaud, okay? The winner will then be announced, awarded the trophy, runners-up will each receive a Sports Tynedale Award of Merit. No hugs or handshakes, I'm afraid, but we shall have photographs. So the winners are asked to move over to the side of the hall for photographs, and they can be taken while we move on up here with the next category. We do hope to have a full photograph of all the winners at the very end of the evening, but more of that later. So, to move on. As we've said, and as we all know, we are aware that the last couple of years have been far from easy. We're therefore beginning the presentations tonight by acknowledging COVID sports personalities. These nominations include folk who volunteered their time and ingenuity to make sure that sporting opportunities remained available, and also sports people who worked so hard to maintain their training despite the lockdown and the complex and ever-changing restrictions that followed it and continue to. They are named in your programme, but before they all come up to the front, I'll give you a quick flavour of some of their activities, all of which have promoted physical and mental health during the most difficult of times. And we should see pictures of them too. So, to begin, Annie Lees kept Tynedale Rugby Club ladies section going, really, by setting online training challenges and also a virtual bar on a Saturday night. If she's not here tonight, it's either because she's training or she's in the bar, not sure which. Brendan Jackson, likewise, initiated weekly training on a weekly scale, leading up to a Grand Prix title to motivate the runners at Allen Valley Striders so that they maintain their fitness. Chris Capnach ensured that the fabric, finances and infrastructure of Stocksfield Cricket Club remained viable so that when cricket could resume safely, the club was well placed to move forward. Colin Walker, as an official of the West Tyne Cricket League, dealt with juggling endless changes in regulation so clubs could hold fixtures as soon as possible, and half the season of fixtures actually happened. David Young, exploited one activity which was allowed in lockdown by organising local walking groups following all the changing regulations and protocols that came with it. One gentleman who's already had a bit of a mention is Fenwick Mark Ridley, and his enthusiasm for open water swimming swimming, maybe spinning as well, I'm not sure, encouraged lots of brave folk, including Carol, to try it, and numbers have remained high. As well as fitness and mental health, there's a knock-on effect for the safe management of rivers. Gordon Allen set up a walking groups in the Ponteland area, providing safe outdoor socialising, which contributed enormously to physical and mental health. Jeff and Pauline Higgins kept the Queen Elizabeth High School rowing club going through ingenuity, including, I'm told, a mock-up boat on a park bench, communication, attending a total of 23 webinars, and their determination to keep things as normal as possible, despite worries, financial and other sorts. Jen Turnbull, we're still there, good, was responsible for reorganising training at Hexham Junior Netball so that it could recommence as soon as it possibly could, on 3 nights instead of 1, so requiring 3 times the commitment. Johnny Henderson is an acrobatic gymnast of world standing. He maintained motivation and fitness by engaging with online communities and turning his front room into a gym. Liz Hicks leads the PE department at Haydenbridge High School, which kept pupils motivated and active during lockdown through a number of ingenious challenges. I particularly like the one called Toilet Roll Keepy Uppy. Mind boggles. Steve Reed his karate students were kept busy with virtual classes, training videos and one-to-one online coaching. He scheduled 13 sessions each week of lockdown. That's dedication. Yannick Devil is a coach at Prudder and Stockfield Rugby Club, who adapted to the restrictions of last year by adopting some innovative training ideas that kept the players engaged and fit. And finally, Zara Norton is a golfer who maintained focus on improvement despite the lack of training facilities. Her online challenges were obviously successful, as when golf did start again, she won the Under-16 Scottish Championship. A long list of heroes of COVID, and there's probably others that we don't know about. But please, will you welcome those individuals as they make their way to the front, following the protocols, and we can applaud them.
It is a fantastic lineup, and while Carol is starting to present all of them, I'm going to come right into the middle here, and I'm sorry that I'm not going to get a chance to speak to you all, but I am going to speak to this man here next to me. I'm going to use you to sort of speak about, I guess, all of the challenges. We've got a variety, as we've heard, of sports and of people who have different roles, coaches and sport administrators and performers. You yourself, Mark, sorry, Panic, you know, in your world, how quickly did it take to adapt to everything that had happened last year?
It wasn't very quick at all, to be honest. I think I speak for quite a few people. It took a good few months to actually get a grip of what was actually happening, and to actually get the ball rolling and feel confident about everything. I'm standing next to people who are really, I think you've done a lot more than what I have. So, but yeah, it has been quite a tough challenge, but I think for everyone really well.
But of course, you know, it doesn't matter what sport you're involved in, and Carol touched on it, particularly with you. You know, a lot of people talk about the mental health aspects, and obviously, swimming and open water swimming has been one of those things that people all of a sudden have started to dip their toe in the water, literally, and realising how much more it can give them than just health and fitness, physical health and fitness.
Absolutely. I would quite happily stand here for a good length of time and talk about all the benefits and the buzz that everybody gets. But it has just carried on. For us, we've tripled the numbers, which is insane in the wall stage, and that's all transferred into the winter as well.
You don't necessarily need to grow that facial growth to enjoy open water swimming and keep you warm. No, it's not necessary, because I don't think, unless that's under the mask. But listen, I mean, honestly, all of you, if we had time to speak to every one of you and get your own personal journeys, we would be here all night. But we wanted to recognise you again. We didn't get the chance to do it last year, but you were working so hard, making a massive difference. So a huge thank you, please, to all of our COVID heroes.
Some people just don't listen to instructions, do they? I did warn you that it might not be quite as slick as usual. However, let's move on to the main categories, as it were. This first section is the youth team of the year. I think they're putting me on more than they're putting you on. Although the first of the shortlisted teams plays at under 17 level, the majority of the boys in the Hexham Greens under 17 have actually been together since they were under 8s. And for most of them, this will have been their final year as a youth team, moving on to under 23 next year. Under the continuing guidance of coach Joe Speed over the last 10 years, the players have matured and improved and become a close and supportive group. During this time, this talented squad has won 5 league titles, 2 league cups, and the Northumberland FA West Division Cup 9 times. This year, though, has been the icing on the cake, because they achieved all 3 of those in the same season. That's a tremendous achievement. In contrast, the girls who make up the Wylam Rockettes under 11 team haven't been together as a squad for that long, but they are one of the 8 female teams which the Wylam Rockets established since it was founded in 2003. This Rockettes under 11 side plays in the Northumberland Football League and has been nominated tonight because of their excellent teamwork and determination to improve. All members of the group have displayed a positive attitude to their training and to match play. They have responded constructively to the excellent coaching provided by Darren Richmond, and they show huge potential for continued improvement as they progress through the ranks of their club. I'm sure we'll hear about them again at an event like this. Now, as these are youth teams, we really do want to see them all. So just for the moment, forget what I said about just a few people coming up from each thing. Please, all of you, come up to the front, but remember the rules, and we'll all applaud as you make your way up. And committed teams, each competing very successfully at their own level. But it is for the unique treble that for that unique treble that the Richard Mercer Trophy for Youth Team of the Year goes to Hexham Greens under 17s. One at a time. Sorry. Look over my shoulder, that's fine. Shall I? Yes. Yes, I will. Right. Okay. We would normally at this stage have 3 categories for the school awards. In all honesty, the awards committee was really not expecting any school nominations this year, as all the schools in our area have been fully occupied coping with the extra demands posed by COVID-19. We were therefore delighted to hear of the great success of Hayden Bridge High School's boys' senior cross-country team. Pupils Nathaniel Henderson and Isaac Rogan were 2 of the 8 Northumberland junior boys team, which finished an incredible 5th out of the 44 finishing teams at the National Boys Competition. The Northumberland team also won the John Hedge Trophy, which is for smaller counties that compete. Nathaniel and Isaac's success inspired more pupils to take part in cross-country competitions, and so allowed the school to field a senior team in the English Schools Cross-Country Cup. They were joined by Will Roberts and Dylan Swale to form a Haybridge team that finished in 3rd place and thus qualified for the regional round of the competition. That would have been a pretty good achievement from Hayden Bridge in more normal circumstances, but the pandemic made it truly outstanding and gives us a very worthy recipient of the Isabel Eyston Trophy for High School Team of the Year. Now, sadly, I don't think they're able to be here this evening, unless somebody tells me different. But we will make sure that they get their trophy. Okay, I think they should have a round of applause. And the final category from me, you'll be pleased to hear, is the Young Volunteer of the Year. And this involved some really difficult decisions, such was the strength of the nominations. Alex Hughes took on the role of head coach at the Prudder Plodders junior section last year, when she was just 17. Despite some personal barriers, she has worked tirelessly to develop the running programme into an inclusive and fun activity for youngsters aged from 7 to 18. Her organisation skills, effective communication and determination have allowed her not only to manage the programme, but to evolve and grow it. Alex goes above and beyond, dedicating many hours each week, organising coaching rotas, session plans, risk assessments. She handles all communications for coaches, volunteers, parents, and there are over 60 children, as well as coaching qualifications and race event administration, not to mention attending training sessions and junior races every week. Perhaps the best testament to Alex's impact comes from one of the youngsters, and I'm quoting now from the nomination form. Alex is a great head coach, as she's like an adult in that she's really organised, but like, not sure about that, but like a kid in that she's really fun. She's fantastic in her support of my running, and I really appreciate her coming to my races across country to cheer me on. She makes me feel confident, and I like to make her proud. That's nice. But let's move on. Katie Chomsky is an accomplished cricketer, having come through the ranks at Corbridge Cricket Club. But over the last 3 years or so, she's been giving back to the club as a valued volunteer. She completed an ECB activator course and has been helping out with the All-Stars for the last 3 years. She has a real passion and enthusiasm, engaging with each child individually and going out of her way to make sure they understand what they have to do. The children often stay back after the session to chat with Katie or show her what they've learned. For the past 2 years, she's also helped out with coaching the under-15 girls squad. She's a great role model and inspires them to practice and improve their skills. She's built a real rapport with the older girls in the squad and helped them engage with their cricket. They all look up to Katie, and she's an excellent mentor. As well as coaching with the club squads, she also helped at 2 special holiday clubs put on during the pandemic for youngsters in the area. That was Katie. We come to Keely. Keely French was, until COVID struck, an assistant coach and committee member at Castle Tri, which is the triathlon club based in Prudden. When the vice chair and level 2 coach at the club was forced to give up her commitments, this could have been disaster for the club. However, Keely stepped up to the mark and took on extra jobs in addition to her own committee role. The pandemic hit the club and its members hard, and Keely herself was not spared the anxiety that this brought. Nevertheless, she increased her input with coaching, and once training was back up and running, she was at nearly every session offering her help. Castle Tri is a small community club which many of its members see as family. Keely's dedication to the sport of triathlon has enabled the club to continue in providing training sessions, enabling members to continue to train safely and maintain the social interaction vital to the physical and mental health of many members. Stephanie Ellison is a multi-talented sportsperson, playing rugby, cricket and volleyball in local teams. She's also pursuing qualifications in coaching and officiating in her sports, and yet has found the time to volunteer and make an impact in a variety of settings. Much of Steph's interaction has been in schools, where, I'm told, the head teachers speak highly of her commitment and support for the children. She is praised as an inspirational coach who sets a wonderful example to the children, especially the girls. During COVID, with no face-to-face contact, Steph developed challenges for pupils to attend. Some of them were even recorded in French. Extra learning, I suppose. She also undertook a series of coaching and teaching for individual class bubbles in one primary school, and later supported classes in PE lessons and after-school activities. Late in the summer term, she organised a sports day for each of the year groups. Over the summer, she volunteered to assist at summer COVID coaching camps, supporting a wide range of multi-sports, both coaching and officiating. Busy girl. Last but not least, we have 2 for the price of 1. Tom and Owen Morrison, at just 14 years of age, made a valuable contribution to the running of football sessions at the Reed Tyne and Coquet Centre up at Otterburn earlier this year. There were weekly fun football Fridays. Sessions were run at RTC during last summer for children aged 4 to 9 years. This duo of young volunteers turned up every week without fail on their bikes and are praised by the organisers for their reliability, enthusiasm and skills. They demonstrated patience and kindness to the 20 or so youngsters in the sessions and were a pleasure to work with. The children really enjoyed the experience, and I'm told that one of them slept in his shin pads to make sure he was ready to go. The nomination form passed on also a big thank you from all the parents and young people in Otterburn and from the RTC to Tom and Owen for enabling these sessions to be such a huge success. What a lovely tribute that was. So please, as these young people move to the front, show your appreciation. goes to Alex Hughes. Right, and as they move off to have their photos taken, I will hand over the baton to John Moore.
Thanks very much, Carol. And hello everybody, it's really good to see you all here. First, I'd like to introduce one of our excellent sponsors at Sport Tynedale, Kate Young from Physiotherapy in Hexham. Physiotherapy are sponsoring the individual sports awards, which I'll introduce in a moment. And Kate, your support is really appreciated. Thank you very much indeed. Could I invite you to come up to the front, please, to talk with Ellison? Thank you.
As John's just said, you're relatively new to this part of the region, and obviously, you know, we want to show our gratification for your support, and I think it was really just to get an idea of why you feel. I mean, obviously, unfortunately, the inevitable happens with sport, and that's we get injured, and I can vouch for that because I've just had a 9th knee operation. So yeah, I need a good physio. Obviously that is inevitable, but to have you support the awards, you know, obviously we're massively grateful. But from your side, why do you see it so important to get involved in nights like tonight?
Well, first of all, it's an absolute honour to be here. It really is. I've never been part of anything like this before, and it's really, really moving to see what the kids have achieved. But like Carol, I'm the mum of 2 very, very active little boys. I don't know if you've got boys, but they're very, very active children of mine. And we don't live in the world that it was when I was younger. In fact, my little boys' school don't do outdoor PE in the winter, which I was like, what? I did cross-country in the snow when I was younger. So I just think it's really important for kids to understand the importance of exercise. And if you can get them into sport at a young age, I think it's so much more than fitness. It teaches them discipline, it teaches them respect, commitment. And my little boy, my 8-year-old, is not massively confident at school. He's got his confidence from sport. And he absolutely loves the play in the rain, and it's given him so many more skills that he wouldn't have got anywhere else. So I just think it's really admirable what these kids are doing.
Well, you're definitely speaking to a converted room here. We all agree with that. You're singing off our hymn sheet there. And you know, it is music to my ears, because I think one of the worst things I ever went to when I was still running professionally was to a sports day that was a non-competitive sports day. What are they about? Sport is about winning, sorry people. No, in a nice way. But I can't reiterate how much you know, having people like yourselves and Edgar in the room, you know. So please, a massive round of applause for Kate Young.
Thanks very much, Kate Harris, from Physiotherapy, thank you. I'm introducing some of the individual awards. Remember, we did look back over 2 years for these. Thanks to all those who took the time to make nominations. This year we did also ask you to tell us a bit about training during the pandemic, and as we've already heard, we've been mightily impressed by some of the ingenious ways people found to keep fit, and by the great support they've had from friends, family, coaches in doing that. Firstly then, the Young Sportswoman of the Year award, the Gordon Brewis Trophy. Charlotte Norton worked very hard on her golf with sister Zara during lockdown, including setting up a little mini golf course across the landing and through the garden, I understand. Almost a definition of supporting parents. Charlotte's had a really successful year with a whole series of wins in local and regional competitions at under 13, under 14 level, North of England schools champion at under 14 and the first under 13 in the national championships and qualifying for the European Junior Championships. Molly Hancock is a talented tennis player who this year, aged just 9, won the Riding World Junior Championships, playing of course against much older opposition. Molly's been invited to the Bladed Warriors Talent Programme for those with counter potential, and well done Molly, we'll watch your career with great interest. Zara Norton won the Sky Sports European Junior Golf Championship at the end of 2019, and in 2020 won the Nick Faldo Scottish Under-16 Championships. A member of Matford Golf Club like Sister Charlotte, this year Zara was county champion, had a series of top 3 places in regional competition, and was the first under-16 in the National Schools Championships. Very well done to those talented young sportswomen at different stages of their sporting journeys. If you'd like to come to the stage now, and I think Charlotte's not with us, but somebody from the family I think will be. Well done. The winner of the Gordon Brewers Young Sportswoman Trophy is Zara Norton. Okay, moving on to the young sportsman, the Edward Waite Trophy. During 2020, Harry Courtney kept up his fitness with a static bike in the garage, and I like this one particular, swimming on the spot in a little paddling pool in the garden with his dad hanging onto an inner tube around his waist. So I think we say well done Dad at that point, he's the one with the kind of muscles. Without normal triathlon competition, Harry won open water 1500 metre events in the scenic surroundings of Ullswater, Coniston Water and Wigan last year. And Harry's been selected for the England Next Generation Triathlon programme following a really successful year in which he was second in his age group in British triathlon and finished the year in second place in the national rankings. Harry Courtney. Ryan Lowe's, just to explain actually, the sports we cover here, this is a slightly different one in some ways, motorsport, the sports we cover here are all the ones that Sport England recognises, so if they're on the Sport England list we recognise them, and nice to see motorsports here. Ryan started to take part in motocross events at the age of 6. As for many sports people, access to the sport's been pretty challenging over the last couple of years. For example, Ryan over successive weekends was in Salisbury one week 300 miles south and Elgin the next week 300 miles north. So well done Ryan and to his family. Again, a really supportive family, which is lovely to see. Now as a 14-year-old, Ryan has competed very successfully over the last couple of years, winning 2 Northern Irish Championships, achieving second in the SACU Scottish Championships, and being a member of the team that was 3rd in the national off-road motorsport event. There was a great photo, if you saw the earlier ones, of him in the air. Will Burns has been an outstanding player, leader and role model in an outstanding team, which won the Youth Team of the Year award earlier this evening, the Hexham Greens football treble-winning under-17 side. In the latest season, Will Young Sportsman of the Year is Harry Portley. I've been asked to check you can hear at the back. Got some rowers at the back. Stanford Cricket Club, can you hear me there? Yeah. Hexham Greens, can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, looks like it. Great. Okay. The next one is the Sportswoman of the Year trophy, the Hexham Grant Trophy. On your programme is Lisa Scott. We weren't at all surprised to get a nomination for Lisa because she is a genuine all-round sports person. But I think we're going to deal with that under the Coach of the Year award in a few moments. Lisa Tang showed great commitment to training during various lockdowns, organising another one who organised virtual competitions in Tynedale Harriers, which were really enthusiastically taken up in the club. She built her fitness up after an injury last year with regular 6-mile runs and gym sessions before leaving for work at 7 o'clock in the morning. This paid off. Lisa won the female field in the Spade Adam and Dorney Lake half marathons and was 24th female in the Great North Run in a personal best time, 1:23. Fantastic. So Lisa, would you like to come and, Lisa Tang, would you like to come and collect your Hexham Grant Trophy, a very worthy winner of the Hexham Grant Okay, the Sportsman of the Year, again a Hexham Grant Trophy. Kees van der Land is a long distance runner who runs, to me anyway, an eye-watering 100 kilometres a week just in training. In lockdown, in the bit where he couldn't go more than 5 miles from home, he competed for the Netherlands in a 100-kilometre race, which he achieved by running round and round Allendale, much to the amusement of local residents, as he passed every few minutes. That's fantastic. This year, the numbers in here are stunning actually. This year, Kees won the 37-mile Isaacs Tea-Trail Ultramarathon and the 83-mile Nidderdale Ultramarathon, and came third, just a bit of a stroll in the woods this one really, third in the Kielder Marathon. Great. Tynedale Harrier Dan Joyce was ranked 5th in the UK in the 800 metres in his age group in 2020. Keeping his training going really successfully, he won gold at the 800 metres in the England National Under-20 Championships this year and represented Great Britain in the European Championships at Tallinn. He's now won a scholarship to study and continue his athletics training at university in Mississippi. Another Tynedale Harrier, Darren Towart, is a former professional rugby player who's become a successful 400-metre hurdler in Masters events. Yet another very early riser to maintain his training. During lockdown, the garage became a gym, and in the fields around his home, Darren created a hill course. This all paid off, Darren achieving an indoor world record for the fun 400-metre hurdles at the Sheffield Masters in 2020. And this year, in outdoor championships, he won the gold medal in the Scottish Masters and the silver in the British Masters at the 400 metres hurdles. Matthew Ferguson is an international rugby player and fitness enthusiast, again, who ran online Keep Fit sessions during lockdown and is well known locally, I think, in Hayden Bridge areas for arranging fitness classes and boot camps. In 2020, he was capped for Scotland under-19s in Rugby League, and this year has represented Scotland in 2 under-20 rugby internationals against England and Ireland. Along with the rugby, he competes nationally in fitness games, qualifying this year as the youngest entrant in Fitness Games in Birmingham. Well done to all of them. A lot of miles covered in that little group. If you'd like to come to the front. Peace and Dan Woods are with us tonight, so I hope people are collecting. Yeah, Peter Venus is coach. Great. The winner of the Hexham Crown Sportsman of the Year trophy is Dan Joyce. Okay, that's it for me. I'd now like to introduce Cliff Thornton. Cliff's well known as a great competitor for Tynedale Harriers over quite a few years now. He's also a local fitness instructor and is a fantastic treasurer for Sport Tynedale. Cliff Thornton.
Well, thank you, John. I thought he'd gone. I thought Paul Norton had left because I was fearful that he would shout out again. That's the same suit as you wore in 2019. Indeed it is. John Moore is wearing the same suit that he wore in 2019. I should tell you that I wore mine in the previous 6 years too, because it's the only one I've got. The chairman is wearing the same suit. John and I are retired. The chairman is a farmer. Buying a new suit. It's my pleasure, or is it an ordeal? No, it isn't, to say a few words about 22 of the nominees at tonight's ceremony. So please bear with me. Those nominees are a mixture of clubs, sports persons, coaches, special people like the Unsung Heroes. So forgive me if there's a bit of repetition in some of what I say, because we're talking about individuals who might belong to a club about which I've already spoken. So I'm starting off with the Adult Team of the Year. The winner of this award will receive the Tynedale Sports Council Trophy. Tynedale Sports Council was the original name of Sport Tynedale. As the programme explains, there are 3 nominees: Ponteland Tigers Ladies Rugby Team, Stanford Cricket Club, and Tynedale Cricket Club Men's Second 11. Ponteland Tigers Ladies. Back in 2018, the wives and girlfriends of some of the Ponteland Rugby Club male members decided that they too wanted to play rugby. 3 years of training and coaching later, obviously hindered by COVID for 12 months of that time, and with 33 registered players on board, early in 2021, believing that it's not only rugby-playing husbands and boyfriends that should go on tour, they went on tour to Chester, where they played their first competitive match. That tour was the spark. Having enjoyed success, they then started to play local rugby league rugby rather, and they've won 7 out of the 8 games since then, so well done. Secondly, Stanford Cricket Team. Close to closure in 2016, the club have rallied round, and it seems so fitting that the saving of the club has been followed up by that team excelling on the pitch in 2021. Winning the West Time League One title for the first time in 33 years. But this team is not just a team of players. Some of the teams become builders and workmen, rebuilding the club as a club, both on and off the pitch. The Stanford team went into the local history books when once fielding a team made up of players from only one family. Here's a contrast. In 2022, the team will welcome 2 new overseas players from South Africa, which will take the number of nations represented in this small Stanford club to 11. Thirdly, Tynedale Cricket Club Men's Second 11. They won the Northumberland and Tynedale League Division 4 in 2001 their first season in that league having been promoted from League 5 in 2019. Impressive individual results helped win that title. 3 batters were in the league's top 10 scorers. 2 bowlers finished first and second in the wicket-taking numbers, and a 16-year-old wicket-keeper with 20 catches and 2 stumpings was at the top of the wicket-keeper stats as well. 10 of the 26 players who took to the field during the season were under the age of 18, most of those having come through the Tynedale junior ranks. So with those nominated, please come forward and show your appreciation as they Well done to you all, but as we know, there can only be one winner, and the winner of the Adult Team of the Year and the recipient of the Tynedale Sports Council Trophy is Stanford Cricket Club. Alison said she wasn't going to have a party. There's a lot of partying going on down here, isn't there? Right, well, the photographs are being taken. Club of the Year. The winner of this award will receive the J.E. Woodman Trophy. There are 4 nominations. Durham Reservoir Sailing Club. There it is. Gruddow Plodders. Hey, another cheer. South Northumberland Pony Club, they're there, and Stanford Cricket Club again. And this is what I mentioned about there being an overlap in some of my comments. Firstly, Derwent Reservoir Sailing Club. The fact, these numbers are incredible, the fact that individual membership has increased from 493 in 2019 to 768 in 2021, and family membership from 88 in 2019 to 179 in 2021 has to be the result of the immense hard work put in by the club, who have introduced more water sports into its programme and significantly improved its coaching offering. In 2021, 160 members achieved one qualification or another or completed a programme, and during that time 70 members qualified as instructors at various water sports, adding to that coaching offering. The above and the fact that many members travel to compete as far away as Oxford, Plymouth, Weymouth, Ireland, as well as getting to all the local venues, is a measure of the club's ambition. Secondly, Plodders. 5 or 6 years ago, I can remember standing in Wentworth, I think, talking about the startup club who decided not to adopt the name Harriers, no offence Richard, or Running Club, but simply Plodders, Prudder Plodders. Then we were applauding their Couch to 5K programme and how successful it had been in getting folk to take up the challenge of simply getting off the couch and get outside. Move forward 6 years, they're now a club of 220 plus members, coached by 30 certified running coaches, and in that time there has been some excellent individual performances locally and indeed further afield. The Plodders regard themselves more than just a running club, but a big family. You may have heard that before. They said that the club was born on inclusivity, its soul being one of honest dedication, encouragement, and probably very importantly, merriment. They believe, and in my opinion rightly so, that they play an inspiring part in the local community, and they are justifiably proud of that. Thirdly, South Northumberland Pony Club. As one can imagine, a sport involving both horse and rider created more than a fair share of difficulty for the club in their efforts to keep horses and riders fit and trained during the COVID period. However, everything that could be done was done. the club adapted and found a way. Their effort resulting in some excellent results in eventing, dressage and show jumping in both local and national competitions in the late summer months of 2024. And the fourth, Stanford Cricket Club. Here we go again, a bit of repetition no doubt. As I mentioned earlier when I read out the team nominations, in 2021 the Stanford Cricket team won the West Tyne League Division 1 for the first time in 33 years. An incredible achievement for a club that was near extinction 5 years ago. Being close to closure in 2016, as I said earlier, the members of this long-standing club decided that something different had to be done and the troops were rallied. Senior membership has doubled in the last 2 years and junior involvement trebled in that time. That doesn't happen by chance. Significant effort was made to improve the club's facilities, in particular the building of a superb new pavilion, which is also a great benefit to the local community. During the past year, the club arranged mid-weekly friendly cricket for mixed ability and young players and hosted a festival in June, which attracted entrants from Hertfordshire, Somerset and Essex. And to think that 5 years ago, this club was about to go under. Would those representatives of the clubs please come forward? And as they're all here, I can now announce that the Club of the Year Award and the recipient of the J.E. Woodman Trophy is Derwent Reservoir St. Is this the youngest sailor? Oh, no.
Okay, sorry. Sailing Club. For you to picture. Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone.
Okay, next award, Sports Personality of the Year. The winner will receive the Michael Schulman Trophy, and there are 5 nominations. Ian Duncan, Joe Speed, Chamonix Redmond, Nikki Simpson and Helen Bruce, a team of 2, and Richie Gledson. The first nomination is Ian Duncan. Ian has been a member of Stanford Cricket Club for over 20 years, where he is regarded, and it's often the case when you've been there a while, as a paternal, supportive and incredibly inspirational figure. Ian has played a major part in keeping the club alive since, as I mentioned earlier, it was close to collapse 5 years ago. On the pitch he was outstanding in 221, top scorer and the second highest wicket taker in the West Tyne League Division 1, performances which meant that he was a big part, or played a big part, in helping Stanford win that league title for the first time in 33 years. There are several members within the club at Stanford who have fallen on very challenging times during the pandemic, and I'm sure that goes for most clubs as well. However, whether it was a business challenge or a mental health battle or just general low spirits of folk, without exception, I am told the first port of call for all of these folk was Ian Duncan. Secondly, Joe Speed. His name has been mentioned before already. Joe's been involved with many Hexham football teams over the years. More latterly, the Hexham Greens and the Hexham Whites. His passion, his motivation, his encouragement helped the Greens under-17s to that historic treble in 2021, which you heard about earlier. His first involvement in coaching Hexham footballers was way back when he was just 16 and attending Hexham High School. I guess his coaching future was just meant to be. In times past, Joe has also been the lead coach and organiser of Hexham FC Girls Wildcats summer football programme. The testament to Joe is the fact that many of those players he coaches at under 17 level have stayed at the club since the age of 8. But it's not only football that brings Joe into this award category. In a Hexham Current piece a short while ago, he explained to the reporter, "I taught a lot of these boys to swim at the age of 4. I taught them again at Seal First School as a teacher, and have spent 3 hours a week with many of them for the last 10 years on the football scene." Probably very importantly, Joe is someone who's known not to seek personal credit for what he's achieved, and is someone, despite his relative young age, he's held in such high regard by all of the managers, coaches, players and officials involved in junior football in this area. Thirdly, Chamonix Redmond. Sadly, Chamonix was due to be here tonight, but she tested positive yesterday, so she's not here. But that doesn't prevent me from saying some wonderful things about her. In recent times, she's brought together what was a fragmented local netball scene by creating the pathways which, up to the time of her involvement, just were missing from the local netball club scene. Chamonix has been instrumental in getting folk back into playing netball and getting many more involved in the sport for the first time. She is also regarded by those that she works with as a supportive, motivational coach and inspirational captain, as well as being an excellent player. In the words of one of those whom she coaches, Chamonix is kind, keen, inclusive, friendly, has a listening ear, is a good sport regardless of the result or score, and such a positive person. She is down to earth no matter who she plays for or where she plays. The fourth nomination, Nikki Slippin and Helen Bruce. Nikki has given 12 years of service to the junior section of Hexham Rowing Club and now works as a team with Helen, who became involved with the club a few years ago. Their coaching support and enthusiasm is very greatly appreciated and respected by the 56 junior members who will testify to the hard work that both Nikki and Helen put in, not only to improve their rowing and fitness, but very importantly, their general well-being. Their nominator regards them, as do other members, as simply, truly the foundation of Hexham junior rowers. Fifth, Richie Gledson. Yes, I've made many references to Stanford Cricket Club already, and the fact that in 2016 the club was close to going under. I also made reference to the fact that many folk played a part in keeping the club alive. The nominator of Richie Gledson went a bit further, was a bit more specific. And he said, Richie, as club secretary, has himself taken Stanford Cricket Club from the brink of extinction to champions of West Tyne Senior League in the space of 4 years. Some accolade that. As secretary at Stanford, Richie led the team which built the club's new pavilion, which, as I mentioned earlier, has become such an important hub for the community, as well as the clubhouse. He's also spread the name of Tynedale by organising the first and very successful T10 tournament in the region, which, as I said earlier, was attended by teams from all over England, helping make sure that folk realised that Stanford Cricket Club was still on the map. Would you all please come forward? Thank you. And the winner of the Sports Personality of the Year Award and receiving the Michael Schulman Trophy is Ian Duncan. Alison just made a suggestion that these guys should get to the airport now and get themselves out of Australia and help us out. Thank you. I'll have them. Okay, Coach of the Year next. The winner will receive the Bobby Wood Memorial Trophy. There are 6 nominations. David Schilling, Gary Kidd, Larry Mew, Lisa Scott, Neil Weatherspoon and Bill English. Firstly, David Schilling. For 7 years, David, who is head of junior sailing at Derwent Reservoir Club, has been the key driving force in delivering the robust and very extensive junior training programme. A programme that he had the vision to help design and the passion to help implement. Many of the junior sailors whom David coached in their younger days are now successful youth and university sailors. Their success and the success of the club at various sailing events in 2021, and indeed in the years before that, were, for a large part, the result of David's coaching, encouragement and motivational skills. How often do we hear that word motivational for a good coach? His nominator said, as a coach on the water, David's infectious enthusiasm and sense of fun translate directly to the success of the programme, which he designed and implemented. Secondly, Gary Kidd. Gary has been involved with Hartlepool Badminton Club since 2002, where he is held in such high regard, running weekly coaching and training sessions for adult members, and all those sessions are preceded by weekly junior sessions, where new starters and as well as the regular badminton players are welcome. Many of the adult members started as junior members and developed their skills under Gary's guidance, and there has to be a reason why they want to stay there, and I'm sure Gary can be one of the reasons. Gary's nominator says, Gary always has a smile on his face, so accommodating to the staff at the centre, and always gives a much appreciated welcome to both new and current members of the club. And as an aside, Gary has given some excellent support to Hartlepool Anglers Club. Third nomination is Larry Mew. You remember my first words of the evening when I was talking about the ladies and girls at Ponteland who wanted to play rugby as well, the outcome being the formation of the Tigers team. Well, it was Gary who got them thinking about it. Yes, it was he who in 2018 encouraged the girlfriends and wives of some male members, players as well, to get involved. But they needed to be coached, and Larry was the man. Folk at the club had tried before to get ladies and girls involved, but it just never happened to any great degree. Gary didn't give up. The outcome, as I mentioned earlier, is impressive, with the ladies team now playing league rugby and performing well. Larry has also encouraged a number of the lady players currently under he is coaching to start coaching girls at the local schools, with the obvious intention, but worthwhile intention, and in the hope that the schoolgirls too will, going forward, become Ponteland Rugby Club members and players. The club president says, Larry's efforts have surpassed all our expectations. Praise indeed. Fourth nomination, Lisa Scott. Lisa started the Stanford Cricket Club ladies and girls softball section in May 2021. We had so many people applauding what she has done. Her infectious enthusiasm has helped develop the skills of 30 plus members, aged 11 upwards, who take part in the weekly training sessions organised by Lisa. The ladies team moved on to play in an outdoor league, and when that outdoor league season ended, they moved on to play in an indoor league, a league which Lisa was instrumental in setting up. Lisa has also organised festivals, indoor tournaments for ladies softball teams from the region, and in so doing has helped raise the profile of ladies cricket in Northumberland. Fifth nomination, Neil Weatherspoon. In 2018, Neil decided to set up a specific girls section at Stocksfield Cricket Club. Again, the club had tried before, but with not a great deal of success. The 2018 then group of 3 under 14 girls has now extended to 18, all of the girls benefiting from Neil's excellent and time-consuming coaching. Neil coaches at least 3 nights a week, and of course, in addition to that, there is match time during weekdays and weekends when he gives up his time. Neil's recruitment and coaching efforts have paid off, evidenced by some excellent competitive results in the last year. The girls reached the Lady Taverners under 13 national knockout regional semi-final where they played Sedgefield. And worthy of note, and this is worth thinking about, Stocksfield were represented by 10 girls playing across 3 age groups for the county on one day this year. That's some achievement. Neil has also started coaching senior ladies of the club in softball cricket too. nominee number 6, Phil English. For the last 2 years, Phil has been the champion of paddleboarding at Derwent's Reservoir Sailing Club. His coaching skills and passion, and again that word enthusiasm for this particular water sport, are the reasons for the increase in the number of members involved in the stand-up paddleboarding in the last couple of years. They've moved from 20 to around 70, all of whom benefit from Phil's typically 8 hours of weekly coaching. With many paddleboarding qualifications to his name, mostly if not all acquired through attending intensive courses and at his own cost, Phil is regarded very highly as a coach by the paddleboarding community beyond the local area. So can I ask all those nominees to please come forward and show your appreciation? And the winner of the Coach of the Year and receiving the Bobby Wood Memorial Trophy is David Schilling from Right, nearly there. Unsung Hero, or Unsung Heroes. That is the next award listed on the programme. An award made annually with the winner of the award chosen by our main sponsor, Egger UK. The Unsung Heroes, as I guess we all know, are those who have over many years offered and done so much for the club or the organisation of which they are part. More often than not, it's unseen work carried out behind the scenes, typically by folk who seek little praise or reward, quite common, and who perhaps just don't realise how much they are appreciated by all those who benefit from their involvement in the hard work. And that's why they get nominated, you know. Without the Unsung Heroes, many clubs or organisations would simply just not tick. They wouldn't work. However, I need to tell you there's a slight change to the programme. Almost forgot that. The programme shows that there are 4 nominations for the Unsung Hero. In fact, there are only 3. As you can see on the programme, Pauline and Jeff Higgins are listed as nominees for the Unsung Hero Award. However, there is a change, and I'd just like to say a few words about Pauline and Jeff Higgins, if I may. Pauline and Jeff have been involved in running the Queen Elizabeth High School Rowing Club for, 30 years? Yeah, thereabouts. The club was established in 1980 by a man who was well known locally, Chris Grabham. Pauline assisted Chris for 12 years before taking over the management of the club in around 2002, when Chris emigrated to Canada. Pauline was a maths teacher at Queen Elizabeth High School, no booing from the children. Yeah, was a maths teacher at Queen Elizabeth High School and retired from teaching at the school around 2010. Forgive my dates if they're wrong, but she continued to run the school rowing club, ably assisted by husband Jeff. Although a non-rower, Pauline has a British Rowing Instructors Award, and Jeff is the, or should be the coach. Jeff is not only a coach, but throughout the years has spent more hours than he would care to recall, and I'm sure nobody can remember either, maintaining all the equipment, painting the boats, painting the blades, and much, much more beyond that. Whilst the club does engage and pay for other coaches, Pauline and Jeff's involvement has always been, since day one, voluntary. The club has in excess of 120 members and is known to be very inclusive. All rowers wanting to compete are encouraged to attend all 4 weekly sessions, yes, 4, whilst others who prefer not to compete come along, are equally welcome and row just for fun. The sessions run all year through all the holidays, with Pauline and Jeff taking very little time off but still finding time to organise the many social events such as club barbecues, annual Christmas dinner, in addition to attending all the training and the competitive events. The club is a huge credit to the school. Thanks to, I'll change it, Jeff and Pauline. I've been doing Pauline, Jeff. I'll do Jeff and Pauline from here. Thanks to Jeff and Pauline's commitment, passion, and here we go again, immense enthusiasm. Many of its members have won medals over the years in all the local rowing competitions and in both national schools and British Rowing Junior Championships, with some members going on to row at university and even internationally representing their country. This has to be a testament to Pauline and Jeff's commitment, again, their passion and their coaching skills. They simply run the club, and they put an immense focus, and I know this for a fact, on developing the person as well as the athlete. And Jeff paints and rubs down the boats too. The rowing club is more than just a school sports club, and there is a generation of Queen Elizabeth High School pupils who have benefited from the skills learned from being a member of the club under the care and coaching and nurturing of Pauline and Jeff. I could say much more. I could go on at length about what they did in the pandemic, which was amazing and recognised earlier. But yeah, I just don't have the time. I better stop. Jeff and Pauline, it gives me a lot of pleasure to say on behalf of Sports Tynedale and indeed on behalf of all of those whom you've nurtured, coached and made more wise over the years, thank you. But your contribution is deserving of more than just a thank you. So there is an award for you. Sadly, it's not the Unsung Hero Award. Pauline and Jeff and Pauline, it is an honour for me to announce that you are jointly the first ever recipient of the Sports Tynedale Lifetime Achievement Award. Probably there's a few tributes about to come up on the screen.
Hello, I just want to thank Miss Higgins and Jeff for everything they've done for the boat club. The boat club for me was just massive personal development, and without it I would be a very different person, and I'm so thankful that they took time to coach us and lead the boat club. Thank you.
Jeff and Pauline, I'm so delighted that you're getting this honour tonight. It is so thoroughly deserved. On behalf of British Rowing, I just want to say a huge thank you for the hours that you have dedicated over so many years to ensure that all the kids at Queen Elizabeth High School Hexham have an opportunity to enjoy their rowing and excel their rowing. Observing how your kids all work together to support each other at any race is an absolute testament to the work that you have done. Thank you, enjoy the honour, and I'm so pleased for you.
Hi, I was so pleased to hear that both Pauline and Jeff were going to be honoured in this way. They both put so much enthusiasm, energy and time into Queen Elizabeth rowing. And Pauline's been involved, to my knowledge, in Queen Elizabeth since 1991, just at the year before I started at school, and I feel old now. And she's been the figurehead of the school sport since Chris Grabman left in 2003. To my knowledge, that's 21 years and she's still going strong. And Jeff, who tends to get none of the credit, has been an absolute rock of support for both Pauline and Queen Elizabeth rowing over the same 21 years. Queen Elizabeth, or QE, is literally run on a shoestring budget, but it's been such a vital club for so many people of the North East rowers. And obviously it's been an exceptionally successful club with myself and countless other young rowers winning regional, national, international honours. But without the efforts from Pauline and Jeff, there wouldn't have been this opportunity in the North East to row, especially at a state school. This success is always down to the people behind the sport, the one who organises all the races, the ones who take you to the events, who keep the kit organised, who video you at the events and then always say well done to you whether you've come first or last, with the same enthusiasm, the same positivity. And over the past 20 years, both Pauline and Jeff have taught literally thousands of children to row, towed boats hundreds of thousands of miles all the way through the country, and raised literally thousands of pounds to ensure that the club could continue and that more and more students can have that real experience of rowing. However, the one thing that makes QE special, and this is down to the energy and enthusiasm which Pauline and Jeff have put in, it's this sense of belonging. I've made lifelong friends from rowing at Queen Elizabeth. 20 years on, I'm still as good friends now as I was when I was at school. I have such a strong affinity to the school and the club and rowing, and I'm not the only one that they've managed to do this to. And I think what this opportunity is giving us, giving the students at Queen Elizabeth, old and new, is a way to be able to just say thank you. Just thank you for how much you've actually put in and changed people's lives. I doubt either of you have actually reflected on how much you've achieved, and this is just a massive acknowledgement of what you've actually done. And on behalf of all the students who've learned to row at Queen Elizabeth, I would like to say thank you. So the last bit I'm going to finish on is, go on QE.
You will recognise the last speaker there, Marty Wells, who was an Olympic rower, has been at this award ceremony many times and picked up many awards himself, an absolute legend for the area. The lady who spoke was from a high level, Kate O'Sullivan, who's Deputy Chair of British Rowing. And the next one's a little bit of an embarrassment. I've got him written down here, lovely young lad. Somebody will know who he is. We tried all day to work out who it was. Perhaps you can give them a mention when you come up, because it's unfair that he doesn't get his name read out. I think if you'd like to come up, Jeff and Pauline, Alison would like to have a chat with you.
Do the honours first with this very special first ever recipients. And I'm going to dive in with the worst question ever of how do you feel? Totally overwhelmed. I actually had to move my chair because I really wanted to see the reaction and to see what it meant to both of you. I mean, it's very hard, isn't it, to watch people bestow, because this isn't why you do it, is it? This isn't why you don't do it for the accolades. But what was going through your mind when Tom, Matt, and Kate were giving those amazing tributes?
It's just, especially from people like Matt, Tom Smith, his parents are here, and it's a family. That's what we try to engender. We're not after the typical 6'5", 6'7", 18 stone rower. We have everybody rowing. We will take on anybody, and we have lots of children who choose to come to rowing for social reasons and don't want to compete. Sometimes despite their parents wanting them to compete. And that's where I'll take issue with you.
Mine was a joke. Don't you worry, mine was a joke. Mine was a joke. Don't you worry. That was a tongue-in-cheek.
It's not about women.
It's not. Of course it's not. It's about... It is a very nice bonus. Not that I got many of them, unfortunately, but can I also just ask you, Pauline, I'll come over this side. It will be very hard to pick a highlight. Of course there will. But we've seen, I guess, a cross section, and as Jeff has just very eloquently put it, it is about everything. It's about the Matt Wells and the fact that you can sit down and watch somebody that you saw at the very beginning go on this amazing journey to then pull on the colours and represent Listen, enjoy it, enjoy the accolades, and please keep doing what you're doing, because you're making a difference to so many hundreds and thousands of children, and hopefully we've got Tom that might be a mat in not so long, whether it's Paris or the next one, what's that, LA? So listen, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, our first recipient.
But we do, because we have the Unsung Hero Award. Could I please ask Kate Wallace and Phil Maloney, who are representing our sponsors, EGA UK, who choose the winner of the Unsung Hero Award, to come up front. I think Alison's going to have a few words with you before I carry on with the nominations.
You're just a solo man. That's right. No, but listen, Bill, I mean, obviously, off the back of that award, it's difficult to put into words, but that's what these awards mean. And I guess that's what EGA see in it, because obviously you're back again. And just give us, I guess, a couple of lines about why EGA feel that this is important to support.
Yeah, well, we're really proud to be associated with Sport Time and these awards in particular. We employ over 600 people at the club in Hexham. And therefore, those families are affected by the sports that happen in the area. There's some colleagues here tonight, and then there's some future colleagues here as well, potentially.
Are you touting for more employees?
Well, our apprenticeship schemes are pretty shame, not shameless.
We didn't even rehearse that.
Yeah, so yeah, but we're really proud to be associated, especially when you see stories like we've just seen there.
Brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much, and fingers crossed, long may it continue. Thank you very much, Phil. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil, and thank you for your support. Brilliant. Very, very welcome. And there are so many people in here who benefit from the support that you give Sport Tynedale. So there are now 3 nominees for the Unsung Hero. The 3 nominees are Ian Haggie, Ken John, and Nikki Leach. Firstly, Ian Haggie. Ian has committed around about 40 years, I think, to the administration and management of cricket at both club and league level, and continues to do so at Corbridge Cricket Club. During that time, Ian has also been a player of some high standard and held many, and I repeat the word, many other roles. In 2015, when the club was badly damaged, and you can remember that, and most of us can, by the floods brought about by Storm Desmond, Ian was an important member of the working group which liaised with architects, contractors, funders, the outcome of which was an excellent new clubhouse opened in 2017, where I have to say Sport Tynedale Board Committee have the pleasure of having their meetings. In 1995, Ian became a member of the former Northumberland Cricket League's Management Committee, standing down in 2013, but he was made a life member of the league in 2014 for his excellent service to cricket. Despite holding the position of business management secretary, like many unsung heroes, Ian can often be found helping out in the bar, behind the counter that is, in the kitchen, or just helping generally around the clubhouse, or indeed cleaning the changing rooms. A stalwart of Corbridge Cricket Club, and yes, an unsung hero. Ken John, Gentleman John, as he is known to Tynedale Hockey Club. Ken has been involved with the club since the mid-1970s as a player, an umpire, and all sorts of other things, and is indeed a club legend. He is so highly regarded in the region for his all-round contribution to hockey over many, many, many years, and is well known for his determination to bring greater reason and fair play in the game. Very important words. How is he remembered? Those who know him well tell us, a sight for sore eyes on the pitch. when Ken appeared dressed in his corduroy trousers, which were tucked into his woolly socks, sporting a thick woolly jumper and wearing a fat cap, then folk knew Ken was ready for action. Another says, having previously paid great accolades to Ken in the bit that he presented to us for his all-round contribution to hockey, and despite the previous comment made about fairness, this person said, that doesn't stop me from saying he was the dirtiest player I ever saw with the hockey stick. I think that may have been said tongue-in-cheek. Ken was appointed Honorary Vice President of Tynedale Sports Club in 1993 and has been an Honorary Vice President of the Northumberland and Durham Hockey Umpires Association since 2009. 32 years of hockey umpire, but away from hockey, if I may. 10 years, Chair of Governors at his local school until 3 years ago. 20 years of magistrate, fundraising coordinator for cancer research in his area, and as well, too much to mention really. But it is particularly with regard to his contribution to hockey that we are up here today. Is it any surprise that in 2019, Ken John was awarded the British Empire Medal for his service to the community of Wyoming? But time does fly. It's around 60 years, 60 years, since Ken represented his university first 11 and played for the British Army. Nikki Leach. So much has been said already this evening about Derwent Reservoir Sailing Club. Over the last 10 years, Nikki is regarded as having been involved in everything positive, everything good that has happened at the club. From almost no junior participation, Nikki established a thriving junior scene, and her efforts of lifting the profile of the club resulted in the Terra National Championships being held at Derwent, an event normally held on the open water sea. For those who might ask, what is a Terra? I believe it's a one-man monohull dinghy. Having spent the maximum time on the club's council, Nikki was due to take a break from the official running of the club, but no. She decided to pull together a development group of forward-thinking members. And her leadership, a very ambitious development plan for the club was designed, and that plan, having come to fruition through sheer hard work and endeavour, is one of the main reasons why Derwent Reservoir Sailing Club has been mentioned so often this evening. Once her maximum allowed time on the club council was up, should I take a rest? No. Nikki took on the role of Vice Commodore. She continues to lead the club's development team who worked on the program she helped initiate years before. And like all Unsung Heroes, and this almost goes without saying, she doesn't seek any praise. Would the nominees please come forward? Now that they are here, the EGA UK Unsung Hero Award for 2021 goes to Ken John. Well, that's my stint over. Thank you for attention. It was a long one. I've got to get back because the suit has to be back at Moscow's by 10. So what I need to do now is hand you back to our chairman, Edward Haslam.
Thank you, Cliff. Yes, a long spell and absolute memory. But I can remember the first couple of lines you said, and you passed a comment about a suit. Now, you know times are hard, as farmers have it hard, but I've got some good news and some bad news for you. The good news is I have an appointment with a tailor tomorrow. The bad news is it's Richie Glenson's tailor. There's a little corner up there sort of thinking, well done, and there's another big swing of saying, what's he on about? We now come to the Victor Lagorum, the winner of all the winners. And we split that into two categories, and that is the junior and the seniors. So the shortlist for the junior Ian Turner Memorial Trophy are the winners of any junior class tonight. So we have the Hexham Greens football team, Hayden Bridge cross-country team, the young volunteer Alex Hughes, triathlete Harry Courtney, and the very, very promising golfer Zara Norton. This is not just a trophy. This is in memory of Ian Turner, a man who was a founder member of this organisation, whose efforts, and it wasn't always glory and it wasn't always sailing away merrily, but his efforts made this what it is today. And how proud he would have been to see things represented in the way they were. And yes, I'm a big gnarled old farmer, but when I see things like that, you can tell the voice goes. And the knees goes, and I'm going on. So the shortlist, as I have read, and I will announce the winner and ask them to come forward. So the winner of the Ian Turner Junior Trophy is Alex Hughes. Now we move on to the Tynedale Trophy for the senior winners. And they include the Derwent Sailing Club, Stanford Cricket Club, we said Tang, Dan Joyce, Ian Duncan, and David Schilling. The winner of the Tynedale Trophy are the Derwent Sailing Club. Given the fact that we missed so much sport last year and we received an unprecedented number of Calvert bursary applications, in recognition of the wonderful support from town and parish councils during that pandemic, and the fact that we received fewer grant applications because of that, we have decided to award a one-off recognition of £100 each to the following exceptional young sporting people, most of whom we've already heard of tonight, so I will just briefly announce then ask them to come forward to receive their awards. Charlotte Norton, the golfer, Hannah Skinner, you could understand why I made that one. Johnny Henderson, an acrobatic gymnast, and I'd love to have seen Johnny, he could have done a demonstration in here. However, not to be. Lizzie Scott, a cricketing hockey player, Ralph Robson, another triathlete, Rasheen Lally, cycling, and Zara Norton, another golfer. Please can you come forward and receive your sport camera. So congratulations to you who have won those awards. We move on to the Stan Calvert Bursary in its own right. Stan Calvert was a man before his time. He saw what he could do to help young people in this area where it was slightly considered to be the back of beyond and difficult for people to get that next step to compete at a higher level. And he also had an enthusiasm, and we've heard enthusiasm tonight, and it's so important, that kept the sports club going in years when it struggled. And it's only fitting that the Calvert Trophy remains the name. Now, recently we've had sponsors. Now, if anybody knows of anyone, I'm sitting here tonight and thinking, worth looking after, it's worth supporting. We are looking for a new sponsor for the Calvert Award. Please do get in touch. If you're thinking yourself, or you possibly could suggest a company that might be interested in helping us. The nominations that we have for the Calvert Bursary are, first of all, Harry Courtney from Aiken, a triathlete, 16 years old, British triathlon, has been accepted for the British Triathlon Next Generation programme. Jess Sales, another triathlete from Hexham. Now, if I read this yesterday, I would have told you she's 16, but I'm reading it today, so she's 17. Happy birthday, Jess. And impressive national performances from Nottingham to Scotland. Lucy Dodd is from Ponteland, and she's a badminton player. She's 14 years old and absolutely exceptional, winning doubles and singles events nationally. She is so successful that she is in fact unable to come here tonight because she's competing with seniors, or against seniors I should say, in a county championship. That doesn't matter, that's why we pick people, and it happens every year, and it's great to hear. Now, final is Lucy Thorpe, 17-year-old Hexham rugby player, both codes, regularly playing for Darlington Moden Park and the Leeds Rhinos with exceptional reviews. Now, the winner receives the Calvert Bursary, which is a £600 grant towards what Stan Calvert said originally, and we continue to adopt, someone to whom it will make a difference to get that bit higher. Not necessarily maybe to get a gold medal, but somebody that will benefit from that money. And I recall 4 years ago, Dan Joyce coming back, having won the Calvert Award the year before, and he said something to me that has always stuck in my mind. He said the £600 was wonderful, but he said the fact that you thought I was worthy of it. You weren't my parents, you weren't my teacher, you weren't my friends. You thought I was worthy of it, and that made so much difference. So we have a winner of the Calvert tonight, and we have 3 runners-up who will each receive £100 towards their future progress in sport. So can I ask the aforementioned to come forward, please? Thank you. The winner of the Calvert Award is Lucy Dodd. Can I just say at this stage that it's been heartwarming to see so many people come up, and as you know, debated on this very standard night, is it all about winning, is it about taking part? To see the faces on people who haven't won it, congratulating those that have, it's hard. Alison, I'd like to hand over to you now to have a word with Carol.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, Edward. Yeah, I mean, what a night. It's exactly what we hoped it would be handsome, particularly with Jeff and Pauline. What a fantastic introduction to our Lifetime Achievement Award. So really, really do appreciate all of you turning out this evening in testing times. But can I just introduce Carol one last time, and I guess just to get your thoughts on what you've seen tonight.
Absolutely staggered, actually. I knew we were rich in sport, but tonight it's been something else. The feeling in this room and the talent in this room and the help and support in this room. Lucy's dad just said to me there, taxi driver dad, couldn't happen without us, really, could it? And all the coaches and the Unsung Heroes, absolutely fantastic. I'm quite moved by it all, yes, so I think I'll try and go home and reinvigorate my troops.
Well, no, that's it, and I think, we keep using Pauline and Jeff as an example, but, I myself, through my athletics career, every child always remembers that one person that started you off on that career. Not necessarily that was there at trackside at the biggest events of your life. It's always the people that are the unsung heroes. It's the people that aren't paid every day to turn up. The people not necessarily just your parents. So, I mean, honestly, having you here, Carol, it's motivated me to get in the open water, so I will be joining your Wednesday morning class. Anyone else want to come? She doesn't even wear a wetsuit. That's how hard Carol is. Proper northeast lass. I didn't say it had to be. It doesn't matter. You go in, that's all that matters. I think just leave us with one last, message of what sport means to you.
I think for me, it's just part of my life, part of my growing up. I haven't been a big achiever like yourself, but I just think without sport, it just gives you that extra element and enjoyment in life, doesn't it? And who doesn't feel better for getting out, even if it's a good hike up the hill? Who doesn't feel better for that? And I think particularly now, we all need that, don't we? And I think you can just bring it into your everyday life, bit by bit, or you can go to town and make it a career. But it's just something that I think we need to celebrate. I mean, for me, I would always push the swimming. I'm a bit sad to see what's happening with swimming at the moment in terms of school curriculum and swimming pools and investment, etc. I could bang on about that. I don't think tonight's the night. We don't want to end on a downer. But, that's a really important skill for life, I think, the swimming side of it. But obviously, every sport, if you do it, hats off to you, keep it up. Do it for as long as you can, because my dad tells me with his 2 metal hips, if you stop, it's game over.
Exactly. Well, listen, thank you so much for giving up your time tonight to join us. Just before I put the mic down, yes, I am standing here as president of Sport Tynedale, but I don't do the hard work. The hard work is done by all of these guys to the left of me, in particular Kathy, who is handing out all the certificates. These guys will give up their time, led by Edward, but they are, cut them in half. They are Sport Tynedale through and through. So thank you for turning out tonight, but please give these guys a massive round of applause.
Thank you very much, Alison and Carol. Thank you for those kind words. And I would like you to accept on our behalf of our appreciation for turning out tonight. Please look after them. Please look after them. I was up all night arranging those. And also, Alison, that was the one I tried earlier. It wasn't quite as good, but it's good. So, very quickly, thank you all for coming. A memorable night. I hope you've really enjoyed it. Big thanks to our sponsors. We say it often, but they play such a huge part. Again, we are so grateful for what you do. The two of you representing Edgar tonight. And do pass my thanks on to Anna, because she played a blinder, so they say. Kate, I hope you've been impressed. I told you when I tried to get you to sponsor, it doesn't matter what I say, you've got to kill the witnesses. And I hope you've been impressed. Tonight, we had a few new ventures. We've had Hexham TV, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. And I've never been on the telly before, which is maybe quite a good thing, because I've been for the wrong reasons. However, I look forward to seeing how that is received. You've seen the PowerPoint display that has been put on behind us. We have been having kittens. For years we've said, we've got to do this, we've got to do this, we've got to get into the 21st century.
And I hope you think we have tonight. Because there's a young man over there played an absolute banger. Brim that could not have been better. Our photographer, David, we're most grateful for what you're doing. Stuck your hand up, volunteered. So that means we save a little bit of, he stuck his hand up like that, not like that, and volunteered to do our photography. I haven't got any flowers for you, David, but I shall definitely stand by around when I see you next. And it's a little bit of saving that goes in the coffers and goes back to the young sports people. The Hexham Crant have always played a big part of these awards, and I know a lot of you, like me, got down annoyed as it started to just disappear into a non-entity. We were hearing that, Gareth Southgate was going to play 4-3-1 or whatever it is, the week after the game had been played. And we wrote to the Hexham Crant, as a lot of people did. And then listened, to be fair, because there's no doubt about it, the Hexham Crant is on a resurgence. It's getting some local sport covered in a local manner by a knowledgeable person. Peter's here tonight. Peter, you're playing a great job in that with your information. Keep up the good work, because we need to see all sorts of sport covered, and make sure it's a little bit more than 3 pages. Thank you for that. So the committee, they are a gnarled bunch. We sit at Corbridge Cricket Ground there, socially distanced, looking across, and if the sun comes out, at least one of us drops off and goes to sleep. But we have sport at heart, and we really do like to flag up the good things and give a pat on the back when it is deserved. Thank you to that committee for all your hard work. It really has been some tremendous work this last couple of weeks. Putting together those photographs, those rolling pictures don't just happen. They've been sent in, they've been sorted, we've made sure. I hope we got right names to right people, but I think it's been a huge step on what we've done in the past. And thank you to you chaps there for doing what you've done. It's made all the difference, and it makes my job so much easier. And finally, well, not quite finally, because yeah, you have a committee that's not about one man, but there is someone who hides in the back there. Kathy, I won't embarrass you. Well, damn it all, I will, why not? Thank you, Kathy, for what you do. I think most of us could be doing without you, we've muddled through, but we couldn't do without you. And as a token of our appreciation, if you'd like to turn around and pick up that presentation note, you can take it home, because I know those 3 mince pies will last you all night. Chocolates, wine and biscuits were more Kathy's seen than flowers. My apologies to you and the 2 ladies. You can fight over it. Sport, we've heard about it tonight. And a reminder, the importance, and I'm repeating what's been said, it's character building for life's challenges. Physical fitness and enjoyment, camaraderie, never forget the camaraderie. And it's not just them you play with, it's them you play against. And you couldn't stand the beggars when you played against them, and then 10 years later you bump into them and you remember the good times. And you laugh and you joke, and every innings you had was 20 more than you really got. And every catch was even better than those ones you see on the telly. And they didn't invent that catch and jump over the boundary. We did that one night up at Ellison, and the cameras were there. It provides great and never been more important in these last few years in mental well-being. And as I wish you a Merry Christmas and a safe journey home, I don't like to dig out a quote, and sometimes they're appropriate and sometimes they're not, but I think this one's reasonably interesting. There are only 2 days in a year when nothing can be done. Yesterday is one of them. Tomorrow's the other. So make the most of today. Thank you very much.
Phil.